Alrighty, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining today for this lovely presentation. I'm one of the facilitators. I want to kind of give you a couple of things, just a couple of stepping points as far as the presentation. When it comes to asking questions, please ask questions in the question and answer. Please remember to turn off your camera and microphone. If you have any questions or you want to sign up for any additional sessions, make sure to go to www.moacac.org. And also the recording will be available after this presentation. Hope you all enjoy it.
Just 12-3.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We should be good. I unmuted it. Thank you all for logging on for this tonight. We're gonna go over some future options for you all. We're gonna get started with some introductions. All right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Captain Ann McCarthy, the Officer Selection Officer here in the St. Louis and surrounding area. I'm also a finance officer in the Marine Corps, and I just want to give you a little bit of background about how I took the path to becoming a Marine officer. So I'm actually from Michigan, from northern Michigan, and I went to college at Central Michigan University. I studied industrial technology management, computer-aided product design. And while I was in college, I decided I kind of wanted to do something more. I wanted to serve my country. So I started looking into different programs. And I came across the Platoon Leaders Class program. So I talked to the local officer selection officer in Michigan and got myself signed up for that and went down to Quantico, Virginia for officer candidate school. Throughout my training with the Marine Corps, I got to see a lot of different of the job specialties. And the one that I landed on was financial management. So while I didn't go to college for that, I was trained by the Marine Corps and was able to go and serve in the Fleet Marine Force as a finance officer. I have also had the opportunity to attend resident professional military educational schools, such as Expeditionary Warfare School, with international officers from 26 different countries, as well as members of the other armed services. So that was just a little bit about me. Now I'm over here in St. Louis, like I said. I'm going to pass it off to the next presenter.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sergeant Cedar. Before I get started, I'm going to do a little technical check real quick, just to make sure we're sharing. And unmute it. All right, good to go. Just making sure everybody can see me. So a little bit about myself. My name is Sergeant Cedar. I'm actually a corrections officer in the Marine Corps. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I actually enlisted back in 2008 into the United States Navy. Did a little bit of time with them. Got out, started using my veterans benefits, and then I just felt like a little piece was missing. So I went and seen the Marine Corps recruiter, and about 2013. And a little bit about my job and what I do is I actually work inside work hand in hand with the Military Justice Department. Work inside the prisons. We help rehabilitate prisoners. And that's my day-to-day job. On the side, we have a program within the Marine Corps where we actually we fly from state to state and sometimes overseas and actually go help bring prisoners back for a variety of reasons. I actually got my federal law enforcement credentials through that, and I'm a certified corrections officer with the American Corrections Association. Definitely set me up for success for when I get out. I bought a house in Imperial, Missouri in Jefferson County. I live with my wife, my 3-year-old son, my 1-year-old daughter. Utilize my VA benefits once again with the VA loan. So we bought a beautiful house down there. And I was able to actually transfer most of my education benefits to my wife as well. Now I'm a recruiter out of South County, St. Louis, which is a pretty nice area. And I like what I do. I'm out there changing lives, putting people in the Marine Corps, whether it's, reserve or active duty. And we're going to touch on all of that in a little bit. But the most important thing is that I'm watching individuals grow. So it's really near and dear to my heart. And that's one of the reasons I came out of this duty. So I'm going to introduce our next presenter. He's Gunnery Sergeant Renner. He's actually one of the recruiting instructors for all of St. Louis.
Take this. Hey, how's everybody doing? So I'm Gunnery Sergeant Renner. I'm an assistant recruiter instructor in St. Louis, Missouri. So a little bit about myself. I'm from Redbud, Illinois, and I decided to join the Marine Corps because I played sports all through high school, and I really wanted to challenge myself and continue that camaraderie and that brotherhood we have. So very competitive, and I wanted to stay physically fit, and I also wanted to see what I can push myself to do in the future and set goals and achieve them. So I decided the United States Marine Corps was the best fit for me since they had a lot higher requirements than the other branches, and I really wanted to make a name for myself and be proud of who I was and look back on life and know that I made a difference. So coming from a small town of Southern Illinois with only about 3,500 people, I've hit 12 different countries before I was 21 years old. I'm working on my bachelor's degree right now. I haven't had to pay a penny for that. I put my wife through college. She's got her bachelor's degree and she's working on her master's currently. I have a 10-year-old daughter, 2-year-old son, and I have $80,000 with the post 9/11 GI Bill that is going to go towards their education. So I don't have to worry about their student loans, and I don't have to worry about my wife's either. So, but yeah, I'm just here to see if I can help anybody out and set everybody up for success, just like the Marine Corps allotted me to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off.
All right, hello again. All right, so I'm going to go over a few things to include, kind of a little brief history of the Marine Corps, as well as some of the career opportunities and extra credentials that we do offer. So first off, the Marine Corps was actually founded in 1775, and so the main missions of the Marine Corps is that we operate on air, land, sea, and cyberspace. Right, cyberspace is a new one. And we're kind of, we're opening up new jobs. Every year it seems like the Marine Corps is kind of getting more and more into that kind of realm, right? America knows the Marine Corps is being ready at all times. So what does that mean? We are America's 911 force. That's kind of what makes us different from the other branches, is that we are always physically ready. One of the reasons why our physical standards are so much higher. So the main components of the Marine Corps is the Marine Air Wing, our logistics, and the ground combat units. So not every single unit is the combat roles and combat support as well. All right, so over 300 military occupational specialties. So if you don't know it, if you've never seen that word MOS, the acronym MOS, it essentially means job within the Marine Corps. The neat thing about Marines is we're actually trained to the same standard. That's why if you ever heard the term, every Marine is a rifleman. So what that kind of does is it creates that standard for a Marine to uphold, and that's what helps make us keep us mission ready at all times. Now, there's a few different ways that one can become a Marine. So on the enlisted side, we have enlisted and officer side, we have active and reserves. So active duty is like a 9-to-5 job, right? You're getting paid full time with full benefits. The reserves is more of a part-time job. So you still get some of the benefits, just on a smaller scale, but you're only working one weekend out of the month. But you do get compensated well for that. It's definitely something really good to make you more marketable when it comes to the civilian sector. Another unique thing about the Marine Corps is our leadership. Leadership is taught from day one in boot camp. So it's all the way from an E1, which is a private, all the way to an E9. right? So leadership never stops in a Marine's career. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the actual careers. I touched on MOSs and what that kind of consists of. Every single MOS that we have, every job that we have, we go through state-of-the-art technical training. Okay, we even have apprenticeship programs that can get you certified. That way you can take your skills, out of the civilian sector if you so choose, to leave the Marine Corps. One beneficial part of learning a technical skill in the Marine Corps is that you will get immediate hands-on experience. The Marines will ensure that you learn the job that you're going to school for. All right, so opportunities to gain responsibilities is definitely something that the Marine Corps offers. Really good about giving people more responsibility, so that way they can learn, become better leaders. One thing I wanted to touch on was that military apprenticeship program, all right, or otherwise known as US MAPS. So what this does is an actual, federally accredited program that essentially, shows employers that you actually had on-the-job training, that you know what you're doing, right? And the Marine Corps will actually also pay for you to get credentials outside of it. So let's say, for example, you're working on computers, any kind of like data networking, you can get your C+ certification for absolutely no cost to you. The Marine Corps will pay for you to get that. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Gunnery Sergeant Renner. He's going to go over education.
Does the clicker work? All right, so hey, I talked a little bit about the education aspect whenever I introduced myself. So the first thing is the Montgomery or the post 9/11 GI Bill. So the post 9/11 GI Bill pays up to $80,000 for your education after you serve your 4 years in the United States Marine Corps on active duty. And what that entails is that's up to $80,000 for your education paid for. The government pays it directly to your college, and you will get based allowance housing, which basically is in the St. Louis area, it's $1,640 per month. That's going to pay for your food, your rent, utilities. So if you ask your parents about how much they're paying for rent or for a mortgage, that's a pretty decent amount of money that you're going to get for up to 36 months after your 4 years in the Marine Corps. So the tuition assistance program, that pays 100% of your education as long as you maintain a C average, and you can go to school for as much as you'd like, but usually when you're on active duty, it is a full-time job, so you're probably not going to do more than maybe 2 classes a semester. You can do 3, but it's going to be pretty difficult to be able to balance your full-time job with your education. So in regards to the advanced technical training, so I went into the Marine Corps as an engineer, so engineering was interesting to me, and I went to my advanced school a couple years after my initial term started. And after that, whenever I was a staff non-commissioned officer in charge, I went to my master's course for engineering. So it gives me a lot of different certifications, including OSHA. So it's a nice setup to give me options in the future. Even if that's not what I'm aspiring to do, it's still a great option to have. And then we have enlisted to officer programs. And we do have Captain McCarthy here, who is a commissioned officer, and she's going to go in depth with what that all entails. But the enlisted officer program is definitely, there's multiple options that you can do if you decide to go on the enlisted side and actually understand what it's like to be on the enlisted side, because you would be a leader of Marines and you would be in charge of hundreds and even thousands of Marines at some point. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the delayed entry program. So the delayed entry program is set up specifically for seniors and for graduates out of high school, that it's here to mentally and physically prepare you for the rigors of recruit training. So the Marine Corps is the world's most elite fighting force. It will be the most challenging branch that's out there. And like it says, you can postpone recruit training for 365 days. So what that means is seniors that just completed their junior year, now they're upcoming seniors, that summertime, right after they finish their junior year, they can get enlisted into the delayed entry program. That does guarantee you a job, a technical skill, and a boot camp date. And that would be after you complete high school. So you complete high school, you graduate from college, or you generally set your affairs in order before setting out in this life-changing endeavor to commit to becoming Marines. So more about the delayed entry program. You do get a guaranteed program in writing. It allows time for you to prepare for recruit training, so mentally and physically. So we look at this like we're your mentor. We have, most of the Marines have 7+ years in the Marine Corps, so they have a lot of leadership experience, and we look at each other like we're family. You join the Marine Corps, you're my brother, you're my sister. That's how we take care of each other, and we're here to set you up for success. So you develop friendships, and you're given the chance for an accelerated promotion. So there is promotions available that we have while you're in the delayed entry program waiting to ship to recruit training. And recruit training is basically, boot camp or basic training, but it's different in the Marine Corps as far as what we call it. So a Marine Corps recruiter will provide you with mentorship, guidance, and support to ensure you are well prepared for the physical and mental rigors of recruit training. MEOP, that's the Musician Enlistment Option Program. So if anybody in here plays an instrument, I highly recommend you ask us at the end a little bit more about it so we can give you more details. But like it says on the slide, if anybody in here was a first chair in high school or is currently, regardless of what instrument you play, I highly recommend you look into this and see what your options are. But long story short, it's 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, traveling the world, playing for heads of state, ambassadors, and you're very, very professional, and it's a very elite group, and it gives you a great opportunity to continue your passion in music if that's what you're interested in. A little bit more about the MEOP. As far as there are audition requirements, you do have to meet the height and weight requirements and the mental and physical requirements that any other person that decided to join the Marine Corps would have to do. So it is a little bit more challenging. You can't just be a musician, obviously. So you do have to get mentally and physically qualified. And as long as you can pass the audition, then you can get a actual enlistment contract to be a musician enlistment option player in the Marine Corps band. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Captain McCarthy for the officer programs.
All right. Hello again, everybody. I'm going to go over some of the paths to becoming a Marine officer. So earning your commission as an officer of Marines is kind of proving to the Marine Corps that your footsteps are worth following. So we're going to talk about a couple of different paths and what those look like. Okay, so the first program I'm going to talk about is actually the program that I run here in the St. Louis area. It's an ROTC alternative program, meaning that we allow our applicants and candidates to focus solely on school during the year, and then we send them to paid training down in Quantico, Virginia over the summers between their years. So our office works with college students from across 41 different universities throughout the Missouri, Illinois, and Arkansas areas. And we work with them. We work with applicants who are showing high levels of leadership, physical fitness, and academics in applying for the program. So our applicants go on selection boards with candidates from across the nation to see if they have what it takes to be given the opportunity to go to OCS. And the way OCS works is as college freshmen, so I know that's kind of the closest alligator to the boat for you all. We have college freshmen apply for the program, and then if they are selected to attend officer candidate school, they attend 2 6-week increments between their freshman and sophomore year, and then their junior and senior year. So they go down to Quantico, Virginia, go through that similar to an internship, military training type, and if they pass that and then go on to graduate with their bachelor's degree, they're then offered a commission as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. All right, now we're going to move on to some of the Marine scholarship programs. So we have several different scholarship programs that are going to allow applicants to experience the college life as a student while they're preparing to take their next steps as a Marine. So these scholarship programs are going to give you the opportunity to use your education as a vehicle that is going to allow you to take on the responsibility of leading others on the battlefield and off. So at the end of the day, you're going to be more than just a college graduate. You're going to be a leader of Marines and a Marine officer. So we have 3 different scholarship programs: the Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, Marine Option Scholarship, the Frederick C. Branch Scholarship, in the Pedro de Valle Scholarship. You'll notice that a lot of the components of these and the requirements for like academic scores are similar. That's because those are the requirements for every Marine officer. All right. So we'll start out with the NROTC Scholarship. So like you can see on the screen here, minimum scores for the academic testing are going to be 1,000 on the SAT or 22 on the ACT. The NROTC Scholarship can be used at over 90 different NROTC colleges and universities across the United States. So what this equates to is roughly $180,000 in scholarship money for you to go to school, get that college experience while you're preparing to become a Marine officer. So there's several different training opportunities we're going to ask you to go to if you were to pursue any of these programs. All right, so a couple of the local universities that participate in the NROTC Marine Option Scholarship are the University of Missouri as well as the University of Illinois. All right, so moving on to the Frederick C. Branch Scholarship. So just a little bit of background. In 1945, Frederick C. Branch actually became the first African-American Marine officer. So this scholarship kind of represents his determination and grit and his ability to overcome countless battles and then blaze a trail for future generations. So the scholarship is offered in 2-, 3-, and 4-year increments to students attending or planning to attend one of 17 historically Black colleges or universities. So the scholarship provides full tuition. It provides supplemental university and college fees, as well as a monthly stipend allowance. All right, so that last scholarship option is going to be the Pedro de Valle Scholarship. So Pedro de Valle was the first Hispanic American to earn the rank of Lieutenant General. So this scholarship honors his fighting spirit and the path that he forged for Hispanic Americans in the Marine Corps. So like the previous scholarship, it comes in 2-, 3-, and 4-year increments. And different from the last scholarship, it's for students attending or planning to attend one of 3 different Hispanic serving institutions. Those are listed here: California State University at San Marcos, the University of New Mexico, and San Diego State University. Again, this scholarship provides full tuition, supplemental university and college fees, as well as that monthly stipend allowance. So that kind of wraps up the officer path and those scholarship opportunities. So I'm going to turn it back over to Gunnery Sergeant Renner.
Hey, so this is just a little snapshot of Marine veterans. So obviously a veteran is somebody that served for their term. Maybe they did 4 years or they did 20 years, but a couple people on here. I know that you guys would know who Adam Driver is. That's the guy that's in Star Wars and a couple other awesome movies. So Rob Riggle, he's that crazy guy that's on one of the NFL commentators. So the rest of them, I'd probably be aging myself if I told you about who Shaggy was, but just for you guys to take a look at there. And then these are some Marine veterans that have done some big things for society. We got a former FBI director, founder and CEO of, there's obviously it's right there. But at the end of the day, if you really want to separate yourself, especially if you're trying to look to go into a 3-letter agency in the future, the NSA, FBI, CIA, DEA, we're going to be the top of the pick when we're looking at your when those people are looking at your resume, because you went into the most rigorous training that the Department of Defense has to offer, and a lot of good training as far as not just going into the law enforcement or anything, but all the different technical skills, which, like he said, Sergeant Cedar said, we have over 300 different jobs to choose from. So former President Ronald Reagan said some people spend an entire life wondering if they have made a difference, and Marines don't have that problem. I'm not sure that I can read this stuff here. How do I pull it up? Oop. Oh, okay. So we got one question from the two out of the two attendees here. Is it true that y'all eat crayons? No, it is not true. It's a great running joke that the Army's got because they're always trying to compete with us. So yeah, it's probably something the Army decided to come up with. But yeah, great question though. Anybody got a better one than that? I can type the answer, but I already gave it. So any other questions? I prefer colored pencils, not to eat, but to draw. So what is basic training like? So it's definitely challenging. So that's it's, if you kind of look at it, if you played any sports or anything, it's not going to be just throwing you into right into the most difficult training. It's a crawl, walk, run method, meaning, you're going to do a 1.5 mile run up to a 2 mile, 2.5 mile, up to a 3 mile, and then you would move on to a 5 mile hike. And that's just talking about, one physical aspect that we have. So, but that's the purpose of the delayed entry program, is to make sure that you are mentally and physically prepared. So, what's it like? It's definitely going to be challenging, like I said. So I want to say it's about 80% mental and 20% physical, because the physical aspect, we make sure that you're 100% ready to go before you go out to recruit training. And if you're not prepared, then we'll give you that hard conversation and let you know that, hey, you're not ready. And because we want to set you up for success, we're not going to send you out there to fail. So, and if you do have additional questions about that, about what it's like, we'd be more than happy to sit down with you and, show you what it's all about. So for Luke, you said, are there IT jobs available in the Marines? Yes, there are. There's information and communications technology, telecommunications. We have a lot of cyber technical programs that are available. We have electricians. We have aviation electronics technicians. There's multiple options that we have. So if you kind of look at it like somebody that works in the city, in order to keep a city going, we have all of those different technical skills. We have welders, we have mechanics, you name it, we got it. And there's not a lot that we don't have. So what other questions we got? Trying to figure out how we have 3 questions and it only shows 2 attendees. So that's interesting. Maybe there's more attendees than 2. So that'd be good news. And I'm glad we got more than just the crayon question. I thought that was going to be the only question. No? So we have Sergeant Cedar here. He's military police. So he's military police officer. I'm an engineer. And Captain McCarthy is in financing. So we have 3 different technical skills right here. So do you have any questions about those specifically, then let us know, because we still got 10 minutes left to answer any questions that you have. There's no such thing as a dumb question, right? Except for the crayons. I'm just kidding. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate your guys' time and your patience. And we got another one. How is it like being a military police officer? I'll let you take that one.
All right, so the Marine Corps has actually got 2 separate fields when it comes to military police. So me specifically, I'm a 5831, which is a corrections officer. Then there's 5811, which is the traditional military police route. I have not really dealt with that side of the house much, although I could, right, depending on my duty station. So I have a buddy who's a Marine. He's a 5831 like myself, and he was sent to Yuma, Arizona, the base we have down there. It's an air base, and he actually does cross training with the traditional military police. But as far as my day goes, as a corrections officer, day-to-day duties could be different. You always have to be on the ready because you are working with prisoners, right? So it's not much unlike, I guess, a civilian prison would be, right? Other than the fact that there's no career criminals, so it's not inherently as dangerous as that would be. But our main mission in corrections is to rehabilitate everybody, right? Somebody might have made a mistake, but that's fine. They're going to pay society back for their mistake, and then we're going to return them back to society. On top of that, there's advanced training. So myself, not only am I a corrections officer, but I'm actually a corrections counselor, which was about an 8-week course down at Lackland Air Force Base. And we dealt with a lot of psychology. I never thought I'd be taking psychology courses in the Marine Corps. But that was something that actually happened. And I actually got 8 college credits for that. So that was kind of something pretty interesting. Right. And on top of that, so when it comes to actual, physical security, I'm a non-lethal weapons instructor. So I can actually teach individuals, teach Marines, even other service members within the Department of Defense, how to discharge a taser, spike strips. You ever watch Cops? See those spike strips in the road. Not only that, acoustic hailing devices. So ever see, if we want to disperse a crowd, it's this giant speaker that throws out some pretty high-pitched tones. Other than that, I went out to Tulsa, Oklahoma to be an actual, essentially an air marshal for the Marine Corps. That's where I got my federal law enforcement credentials. I was able to serve with a whole bunch of different great people from other branches. But like I said, day to day is never the same when it comes to working inside the prison. So.
Hey, and I'll add one thing too. So when he was talking about different military occupational specialties, so I'm a first-degree black belt instructor in the Marine Corps martial arts program. So you would earn your tan belt out of recruit training, and then you move up to gray, green, brown, and black. So that is an actual secondary military occupational skill that I have and that any Marine can try out for. It's definitely very difficult. And I'm also a military operations on urbanized terrain instructor, which that is, you go to urban assault leaders course. And basically what that means is what SWAT does, clearing buildings and rappelling, fast roping down from a helicopter and clearing a facility from the top down. So I'm trained to do that as well. And then, so I basically have 4 different military occupational specialties. So the engineer, a Marine Corps representative, which is pretty similar to a career counselor, and then the mount instructor and the martial arts instructor. So definitely have multiple options to be able to diversify yourself and to change it up, not be doing the same thing over and over again. That's why I wanted to do that, and I wanted to continue to challenge myself. So what other questions we got? Nothing? We're here, so we're trying to help you guys out and see if this is something you'd be interested in. And obviously also in regards to the NROTC Scholarship, $180,000 scholarship, we have plenty of options out there that you guys can look into. And especially if you don't know if you're qualified, I would highly recommend you can go to www.marines.com and see if you even basically qualify, because 1 out of 3 students don't qualify for either mental or physical issues. So highly recommend you explore your options, especially if you don't have more than one path right now. So any other questions? No? Okay. Well, hey, thank you guys for your time. We really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, you can go to www.marines.com, and then Marine Corps representative will reach out to you. Thank you. Have a good night.